College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. Wednesday, 15th of July, 2026, 12:30 p.m. Today, we're coming to you from the grand halls of the University of Birmingham, an institution steeped in discovery and research since 1900. The University of Birmingham was the UK's first civic university, a place designed for everyone, not just the privileged few. Every one of our graduands today is part of that proud tradition of learning and achievement. Degree congregations at the University of Birmingham date back to 1901 and are held here in the Great Hall, right at the heart of our Edgbaston campus. Attended by nearly 30,000 graduates and guests each year, these events are the highlight of the university calendar and represent for many students the conclusion of their studies at Birmingham. Originally built as a cathedral to learning, the Great Hall never fails to impress our visitors. The building is Grade 2 listed, and it's really the details that make the space so special. It features a trompe-l'oeil domed ceiling located above its formal marble entrance. The entrance is bordered by archways that are designed to draw the eye towards the centre of the room. The music you can hear is being performed by our very own student musicians. They often perform versions of modern pop hits or songs with a Birmingham connection. As our graduands wait for the ceremony to start, this is a time for them to reflect on how far they've come. They may think back to the first lecture they attended in a packed lecture hall, making friendships that will last a lifetime. Maybe they're thinking back to their first eureka moment, when their chosen field of study finally clicked into place. Or perhaps they're thinking about late-night debates in the guild, that group project that pushed them to their limits, or the spark of inspiration when they saw their research was really making an impact. Today, they close one chapter and open another. A degree from the University of Birmingham is more than just a name on a certificate. Our graduates are recognised by employers for their resilience, creativity, and dedication. Soon, they'll find many exciting opportunities waiting for them. quick shout out to the staff, students, and volunteers who have made this special day possible. We couldn't have done it without you. Also, a reminder to share your photos from today on social media. Make sure to tag our accounts so we can engage with your moment. The audience is a mixture of graduands who sit in the back of the hall and their loved ones who are seated near the stage. During the ceremony, the graduands will make their way up to the stage, accept their scroll, and be applauded by their families and fellow students. In the sea of formal robes in the ceremony, attendees may spot black gowns, red and green gowns, and possibly some other eye-catching colours. The black robes are worn by those graduating with their bachelor's and master's. Green and red robes are for those picking up a doctorate degree. To the families, friends and supporters watching from home today, your encouragement, pep talks and well-timed cups of tea have helped our graduates reach this day. Let's take a moment to appreciate the parents who still don't quite understand what their child studied but are immensely proud regardless. Well done, everyone. You've earned this celebration. our ceremony will begin. There's a degree of pomp and circumstance to the day that echoes back through the years. These rituals connect our graduands today to students from the very first British universities formed in the 13th century. This procession isn't just tradition for tradition's sake. It's the university's way of honouring the past, affirming the authority of scholarship, and marking the threshold our graduands are about to cross. Now it's time for the procession to start. Senior academics of the university are led into the Great Hall by two mace bearers and will sit on stage throughout the ceremony. There is a mace bearer at the front of the line and one at the back. The latter is called the Esquire Bedell. Both carry large silver maces that they put down on stage. This is a ceremonial kick-off to the day. The mace bearers are usually staff members from the university who have volunteered to take part. Row by row, the procession makes its way up to the stage, passing proud faces in the congregation, students in mortarboards, parents wiping away tears, tutors exchanging proud glances. A senior member of the university, such as the Chancellor or a Provost, will be the last to take their place. They'll stand before the attendees and declare the congregation open.
I declare the congregation open.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. What a wonderful occasion, and it is a real pleasure for me to be able to welcome you today to the University of Birmingham, to our wonderful green campus with its iconic red brick buildings and, of course, this magnificent Great Hall. And today is one of the happiest days in the university calendar, where we celebrate your graduation ceremony. But today is not just one celebration, it's in fact, there's a second as well. We always like to welcome our alumni onto the stage, and Jason is our alumni rep today, but Jason graduated in 1999 from mathematics and is indeed 50 today, I hear. I should have asked you if I could mention the number, so forgive me. I won't ask you to sing happy birthday. Shall I? No, I won't. But what I will do is ask you to give a round of applause to Jason on 50 years, if I could. Not bad, but we'll need better than that, I think. So my name is Carl Dern. I'm the Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Head of the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, also Professor of Mechanical Engineering. And graduates, family, friends, thank you for being here for this very special occasion. Today, though, graduands, is not just a celebration of your academic successes. Rather, it's also a celebration of your commitment, perseverance, and personal growth. As members of your respective schools and also our college, you'll have spent many hours immersed in mathematics, metallurgy and materials, aerospace engineering, mastering fundamental principles, applying them to real-world challenges, and learning how to model, design, test, and improve systems, materials, technologies that shape the world around us. Now, I'm sure that your journey will not have been easy to get here. It shouldn't be. Achievement at this level is difficult. It's earned through effort, resilience, and a willingness to learn from what does not necessarily go to plan. You'll have encountered demanding assessments, complex ideas, experiments that produced unexpected results, designs that required further requirement and refinement, and moments when the next step was not immediately clear. But you found a way. You found a way by thinking carefully, working purposefully, and supporting one another. You've built knowledge, but just as importantly, you've built character and confidence. Now, many of you will be leaving formal education behind and preparing to go to industry, research perhaps, enterprise or public service. Others will continue in further study. But what I'd urge you is not to lose that spark of curiosity that does the evidence tell us. Will it fly? That one's really important. And is there more to this than meets the eye? Keep asking why, how, what if. Keep seeking new knowledge, gather evidence, weigh arguments, and always be open to changing your mind. Universities are a wonderful melting pot, but also a place of learning. They're places that bring together people with different beliefs, customs, and personalities, where we can exchange perspectives and form lasting connections. Treasure those relationships. Many of these people will be the people you turn to in the years ahead. They will share in your successes and, I'm sure, sustain you through some of the more challenging times in life. Like the knowledge you've built here, those bonds will extend far beyond your time in the boundaries of campus. So let's take a moment, if we can, to acknowledge those who've played such an important role in your achievements. Behind me are some of our magnificent staff who've encouraged your intellectual curiosity, nurtured that creativity, and inspired you to keep going. You've been supported by tutors, professional services staff, and support teams from across the university. And so, graduands, I'll invite you now, if I can, to thank everybody that supported you during your time here. And this is the important bit. Let's have a really big round of applause, plenty of cheering for all those that supported you. Not bad, not bad. I'm not competitive, but I was in comp sci ceremony this morning and the energy was high. So we may need to try that again. Thank you. But in front of me are, and joining us in fact from all corners of the globe are your family, your friends, supporters, and I can see in front of me a sea of very, very proud faces and joy, proud in all that you've achieved. You'll all have that person or people who've had the faith in you, supported you, encouraged you, shown you kindness, and helped to make this moment possible. So once again, graduands, let's give them a huge round of applause and a very loud cheer to say thank you. Yes, that's better. Soon you'll come up to this stage and the Pro Vice-Chancellor, Robin Mason, will admit you to your degree. Now this is your moment. Professor Chris Good perhaps has the toughest job in the House. He's going to navigate all of your names in the correct order. But when he calls your name, that is your graduation. Family and friends, learning from what we've seen from our graduates this morning, that's your cue to whoop, cheer and make as much noise as possible. So then, my final advice, if I can. Glamorous footwear, new shoes, a life-changing moment, steep steps. So be very careful as you come up and indeed go down. Give a big smile to the cameras and take a moment to savour everything that you've achieved. But above all, enjoy your graduation. Congratulations, graduands. Very well done.
Now for the handing of the scrolls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Chris Good. I'm the outgoing head of School of Mathematics. Paul Houston has taken over from me after my final term as head of school. And so I have to say it is a great pleasure for me that my last act as head of school is my favourite part of the year, and that is to present the students to Pro Vice-Chancellor Robin Mason to receive their degrees. Carl said he wasn't competitive. I'm not sure I entirely believe that. But I am competitive, and so I definitely want today to be louder than Computer Sciences graduation, and I want maths to be louder than Met and Mat, please. So lots of cheering and whooping. This isn't a church, it's a celebration. So, Pro Vice-Chancellor, to you and to the University, I present the names of these graduands as listed in my programme, proved worthy to be admitted to their respective degrees.
By virtue of my authority as Pro Vice-Chancellor, I admit those persons listed in the programme, both in attendance and in their absence, to the degree for which they are to be presented.
College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, School of Mathematics, Doctor of Philosophy. For research into the extremal hypergraph theory, Debmarlo Bondopade. For research into modelling of cancer matrix interactions, Margherita Botticelli. For research into a class of non-associative algebras related to groups, Michael Turner. For research into numerical methods for stochastic dynamics, Xinyi Wu. Master of Research, Dimitrios Papathanafanas. Master of Science, Financial Engineering, Andrew Hakim. Financial Data Science, Franto Janish John Christopher. Master in Science, Mathematics, Alexander Alcock. Thomas Bridger. Dean Bridgewater. That's more like it, guys. Rosie Chadwick. Freddie James Costello. Daniel Thomas Fox. Samuel Hopkins. Matilda Hughes. Emma Johnson. Madeline Jones. Kiara Luke. Angus Matthews. Melly Mekmedov. Benjamin William Albert Nichols. David Oblishuk. Usaid Rashid. Abigail Sainer. Jershong Walker. Noah Talue. Benjamin Westmore. Matthew James Woodgate. Mathematics and Computer Science, Rebecca Jane Argyle. Sumit Brar. Reuben Butcher Campbell. That's how you do it. Benjamin Harvey. Aditya Vanjare. Melissa Wales. Namanta Vijasekara. Anna Williams. Jacob Yeomans. Mathematics with year in Computer Science, Fern Mabel Warwick. Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, Laura Abkin. Michael Ball. Holly Elizabeth Beechus. Ismail Bayat. AJ Chada. C. Ria Chen. Ju Chen. Avinash Chauhan. Andrew Collins. Blevin Coulson. Thomas Dawson. Joshua Dillon. Kiana Fashadfa. William Forsey. Pedram Golamshani. Jada Gill. Jaivan Gill. Reese Goff. Catherine Winifred Hall. Benedict Haller. Joel Handler. Jack Havinga. Freya Hayward. Zachary Hilton. Alexandra Hintz. Daisy Hogston. Daisy Hooper. De Hu. Prudent Isaoa Imaya Iyamu of Yahweh. William Jacobs. Arjun Singh Johal. Anna Judd. Isha Kang. William Kirby. Thomas Stephen Knight. Samuel Kohler. Aryan Kumar. Jocelyn Latis. Carla Lozano McInerney. Edward Lithgow. Sophia MacLeod. Lauren Mayer. Ramisha Mahmood. Priya Matarandas. Eve Megalemu. Arita Nazaravaiti. Madeline O'Neill. Tabitha O'Neill. Sam Page. Monica Patel. Lauren Pilkington. Alfred Pipe. Theo Gabriel Plank. Olivia Nicole Planner. Neve Puxty. Henry Radford. Aya Bruckman. Amelia Gemma Reeves. Joseph Reindell. Ellis Riley. Jake Riley Cross. Ethan Roos. Jack Salisbury. Pravjot Singh Samra. Lauren Shaughnessy. Dylan Sidhu. Alistair Smart. Josephine Smart. Jessica Tamba. Erin Tiwana. Connor Toogood. Lai Jia Wang. Amy Watkin. Zachary Watson. Shin San Wei. Robert Warmby. Leo Waddell. Brandon Wojciechowski. Yi Q Wong. Amy Wood. Benjamin Wiley. Yu Chen Zhong. Yishuan Zhou. Mathematics and Computer Science, Iwas Amir. Sebastian Andre. Mustafa Arif Baibazi. Chukhin Butt. Fergus Catley. And Andrew Chu. Willem Cronje. Harry Day. Daniel Gallo. Harnish Kaur Johal. Rahil Junaid. Ogunatega Munachimso Komori. Jason Lakin. Wei Shi Li. Mahdia Rahman. Mohammed Ridwan Mahdi. Samuel Mabratu. Kavi Nanra. Joel Okuseinda. Shona Palmer. Nazan Youssef bin Shaifuddin. Kerem Oygun. Archie Williamson. Mathematics with Computer Science with Industrial Year, Navraj Singh Chahal. Ian Abram Davis. Gushan Singh Dillon. Amaya Garg. Shenrei Jiang. Sheil Mulder. Oluwateo Odesola. Alicia Shaban. George Simpson. Peter Iber Vickers. Mathematics with a year in industry, Megan Barlow. Alexander Flan. Aisha Bella Mumbeja Crooks. Mathematics with Business Management, Puhaut Sao. Olivia Hackett. Rian Lali. Carissa Yanqing Wang. Mathematics with International Year, Daniel Bradley. Lauren Burston. Evie Moss. Rebecca Porritt. Amari Roy. Dylan Wenman. Mathematics with year in Computer Science, Daniel Jones. School of Metallurgy and Materials, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into advanced manufacturing of novel steels for fusion reactor applications, Alice Appleby. For research into high-temperature crack growth in an aero-engineering disc alloy, Sasha Scarlett Brown. For research into the computational modelling of nickel-based superalloys to predict their crystal orientation, texture and mechanical behaviour, Dominic Brennan. For research into 3D printing of low-temperature superconductors, Tugrul Tala Erzos. For research into the use of hydrogen as a processing tool to recover and recycle commercial-grade and end-of-life samarium cobalt permanent magnets, James Griffiths. For research into autonomous robotic disassembly of complex products, Jamie Scott Hathaway. For research into the irradiation damage and corrosion performance of ferritic martensitic steels for nuclear fusion application, Liam James Hughes. For research into the parameterization of lithium-ion batteries, Roxana Jakowska. For research into the preforms of optical fibre sensors in specified harsh environments, Madhav Ramesh. For research on the design, synthesis and characterization of human antimicrobial peptide derivatives, Pietro Riccio. For research into the sustainability of lithium and sodium-ion battery technologies, Isabella Daisy Rachel Stevens. For research into computational engineering methods to predict microstructure evolution and the subsequent arising mechanical properties of austenitic stainless steels, Surab Shirish Kumar Supankar. For research into systematic substitution of iron and nickel into samarium cobalt alloys to reduce the criticality of samarium cobalt magnets, Enbang T. For research into novel aluminium alloy structures and targeting enhanced mechanical performance, Joseph Umvandaga Tile. For research into surface engineering of high-entropy alloys, Yipeng Yang. For research into refractory high-entropy alloys for advanced nuclear applications, Cameron Yousefian. For research into advanced energy storage systems for transport and utility applications, Dimitrios Zaras. Master of Science, Materials Science and Engineering, Pratiksha Anandanarayan. Neha Kannan. James Scott Pemberton. Space Engineering, Jackie Shung Ji Chan. Master of Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Mohammed Talha Akhtar. Joel Bao. Daniel Butler. Nathan Court. Ayush Das. Jonah Matthew Gray. Taran Jandu. Pavitra Kuganesan. Lois Martin. Lance Ronald Ravitsa Masanke. Maya McIntosh. Rio Osman. Shahir Akhman. Kian Rowlands-Jones. Rahul Singh. Ethan Warman. Aerospace Engineering with Industrial Experience, Derin Kastaban. Lewis Penderi. Kulsum Shah. Material Science and Engineering, Justin Krotas. Amy Herman. Kieran Martin. Material Science and Engineering with Year Abroad, Jakub Majewski. Mechanical and Material Engineering with Industrial Experience, Shelley Chutezo. Nuclear Engineering, Reina Hirano. Ushin Murphy. Archie Price. Jasper Willis. Milan Yates. Nuclear Engineering with Industrial Experience, Fern Grace Solomon. Bachelor of Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Mohammed Ibrahim Al-Ghazal. Ada Denise Aplak. Daniel Sid Bowman. Sergio Crossdale. Jason Diaz. James Eggington. Layan El Hadi. Edward Hamill. Thomas Menzies. Akibuddin Haqqani Mohammed. Shanu Oliver Naguleswaran. Gurjivan Nahal. Benjamin Pitts. Anjali Raja. Nerissa Stott. Aerospace Engineering with Industrial Experience, Simran Kaur. Material Science and Engineering, Nazar Abbas. Leonard Beckman. Annalise Brown. Billy Elwart. Noah Thomas Evans. Lara Anthony Harris. Shoru Ruziboev. Keiyu Shao. Ziyao Tao. Henry Thomas. Material Science and Engineering with Industrial Experience, Grace Taylor. Bachelor of Science, Aerospace Technology, Hussein Al-Arajo. Emilia Blonkowska. Isabel Padron, Cameron Connor, sorry. Isabel Padron. Materials Technology, Abraham Austin. Rohit Biswas. Elise Gill. Bridges Kartigesu. Finn Lacey. James Skelding. Nuclear Technology, Connor Daniel. Archie MacDonald. Yat Long Ron Yu. And last but by no means least, School of Mathematics, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, Samuel Adedeji Lawal.
Just waiting for Samuel to sit down. Well, something very particular happens when people manage to navigate the steps on the way up. They come up as graduands, and then a shake of the hand and a scroll later, and they became graduates. So we can now proudly call you graduates of the University of Birmingham. Congratulations to you all. You did it. My name is Professor Robin Mason. I'm Pro-Vice-Chancellor International here at the University of Birmingham. And I know my colleagues Carl and Chris have already said this, but let me repeat it. This is really the highlight of the academic year for us. It's a huge pleasure, but actually it's an enormous privilege to share in the graduation ceremony with all of our freshly hatched graduates, and in particular all of the families and friends and supporters who are here today and watching online, who have been with them throughout the entirety of their studies. It really is a privilege, so thank you for allowing us to share the moment with you. The good news is that this is the last speech. The better news is I'll try and make it as short as possible, because I get the sense that really you'd like to be out celebrating. So, but if you'll just allow me to say a few words, and then we can get on with the main job of celebrating our graduates' achievements. Graduates, if I can speak to you, today marks the end of one kind of relationship that you have with the university. But it also marks the beginning of another. So, as I've said, you've moved from being students to graduands and now to graduates. And as such, you're joining a distinguished family. And it really is a family. We like to think of it as a family. It may be a family with 400,000 members in over 170 countries, but it's still the family of the alumni of the University of Birmingham. It's a pretty distinguished group. It's a group that includes Nobel Prize winners, pioneering engineers, celebrated authors, Olympic gold medalists, successful entrepreneurs, inspiring educators, influential policymakers, groundbreaking clinicians. And it's that family and community that has built the reputation of this university. Just last month, we learned that the university has been placed 68th in the world in the latest international world rankings. And that's a position that's increased 23 places over the last 4 years. And while that reflects our campus, our facilities, our research, our education, most of all, it reflects on the quality of our graduates. So no pressure this year's graduates. We know that you're going to go on to do great things, and I'll say a few more words about that in just a moment. But before I look ahead, I'd invite you all, if you get the chance, to wander down the corridors of this Aston Webb building, and you'll see some of the stories from the university's past. You'll see museum objects, some artworks, manuscripts, photographs and films that tell the stories of the people who have shaped the university over the last 126 years. It includes the story of Ranjit Sondhi, who arrived in the UK on a scholarship, came to Birmingham and earned a degree in theoretical physics. His father wanted him to pursue a life in science, but he chose a different path. He turned towards the community, founded the Asian Resource Centre in Birmingham, and dedicated his life to education, equality and public service, including 2 decades as a lecturer in community education here at Birmingham. His influence is extended nationally through roles on bodies such as the Commission for Racial Equality, the BBC, and the Criminal Cases Review Commission. And these are the stories, it's the people and their stories that give our university its meaning. Stories of and people of discovery, perseverance, creativity, and courage. And the really exciting thing is to think that those stories will be added to in future by our graduates of today. There'll be stories, no doubt, of some failures, as well as many successes, of ambition, breakthroughs, setbacks, achievement, challenges, and opportunities. But you've been through all of those in your time here at the university, and they've shaped you and they've given you the resilience so that, yes, of course, we're enormously proud of you today as you graduate, but even more than that, we're looking forward to what it is that you're going to be doing in the future. I'll just insert a few words of my own advice, if you don't mind, and then I'll close with some more important words from somebody who founded this university. So my advice to you graduates is think about everybody sitting in front of you, your families, friends, and supporters. You've already thanked them. I'm sure you're going to be doing that many times again today. But you've got to where you've gotten to today thanks to their support. And that tells me, it should tell you, that life isn't a solo activity, it really is a team sport. And let me encourage you, graduates of 2026, when you're with others, seek out the very best in them, find the very best in them, bring out the very best in them, because by bringing out the best in others, you'll bring out the best in yourselves. By helping others fulfill their potential, you'll reach your potential too. Now, standing on this very stage at our formal opening more than a century ago, King Edward VII laid down a challenge to our students. He said, "I say that the honour and dignity of this university are largely in your hands. and I look to you to initiate and hand down worthy traditions to your successors. I think those words remain as true today as they were then. Each one of you is now a part of the university's legacy, and each one of you will shape what the university becomes. And I know I speak on behalf of all of us at the university to say that we're enormously excited to see what your futures are going to be like, what lies ahead for you. And all we ask is that you stay in touch, remain part of the family, so that we can see all the fantastic things that you're going to do in the future. But we can now celebrate, because that's the end of the speech. And class of 2026, enjoy your celebrations. Many congratulations once again. Well done. And I therefore declare the congregation closed.
live stream has now ended.